Hi YouTube, this is Felicia with Bible Scraps. Okay, you guys, this is like part 2 to my introductory video. Perhaps this is going to be a series, but I'm definitely on a crusade to mail myself mail. Once again, this is part 2. If you guys missed part 1, check it out, because in these 2 videos, I'm sharing my thought process, how this movement, this endeavor, this crusade started for me. So make sure that you check out part 1. Okay, so in part 2, well, I talked about this in part 1. I love it. Okay, so let me share. Actually, let's turn. You guys are looking at, look, let me share the cover, the front cover. I love it. I want to do more of this. I brought a couple, 2, 3 videos a couple years ago, and I got to do more. Okay, but this video is about mailing myself mail, right? And mailing my family members random thoughts, random sentiments. Let me share our experience last night. So it was Valentine's Day, right? So, several days ago, and he actually has his mail that I mailed him. Several days ago, I put a letter, a handwritten letter to my husband in the mailbox and mailed it from home, right? And yesterday for Valentine's Day, it came. And I put it in the area where I keep his mail. So he came to pick me up for dinner. And I was in the car and I yelled to him, grab your mail. He only had one piece of mail. And it was from me. No bills, right? No junk mail, but it was my mail to him. And so we're having dinner. Okay, I have the card somewhere. Food was awesome. Woohoo! Okay, we ate there before we went to the concert at the Save Mart Center to see Toby Mac and a whole lot of other people. We had it was a beautiful Valentine experience, but it wasn't about the food. It wasn't about the concert, though both of those were beautiful. This is what I'm going to forever remember. So before the dinner was brought out, I told my husband to open up his mail. And it was a decorated envelope, so it was mail art, but it was mail that I mailed to him. Number one, he was so intrigued. As he looked at the envelope, he was like, wait a minute. You mailed this from the house. It has a stamp on it. It has the date on it. He didn't know that you could mail to yourself or mail to the same house, right? Some of you guys perhaps didn't know that either, but it was tickled to watch him. And the whole time I'm filming him. So he admires the envelope. And you guys, if you saw part 1, and then you know, I'm not really good, though I make cards, I'm not really good at sending cards out. Oh my goodness, and you know what? Okay, in part 1 of this video, I keep remembering things. This whole movement that I thought started this month, well, I know it at least started in the summer of last year, but even earlier than that, because now I'm remembering things. For the last several years, I've wanted to. Anyway, let me try to stay on track. I'm just having these random memories right now. So, the point I wanted to make, though, was thank you, Lord. Thank you, Lord, for inspiring me to go on this crusade, to not only mail myself mail, but to mail my family members mail. And I got my 14-year-old all in my ear, invading my space. Can you leave, please?
I'm watching.
I know you are, but you're breathing down my neck. Okay. Anyway, you guys, I'm watching my husband tickled as he admires the mail art. And then he opens it up. And he proceeds to read the letter I wrote him. Now, mind you, like in part 1, I'm using vintage stationery. I have a large collection of it. And that's what I used to write his letter. So it was a handwritten letter. Nothing, I mean, I just spoke from my heart how much I love him, appreciate him, how he's exposed me to different new experiences. I listed those experiences and, I just spoke from the heart. Actually wrote from the heart, right? That's more accurate. I wrote from the heart. Well, my husband was so moved. And now that I think about it, I don't think I've ever written him anything. I used to buy him cards, but cards can be generic because the sentiment is already there and you just sign your name. There's something generic about cards. But people, the power of the written word. You guys know in part 1 of this series, I talked about my daughter and how a little note blessed her to her core. Well, my husband, after he read my note, he began to express his love for me. Right? And I wasn't expecting that. And the words that he said, I could have cried right there. I'm filming him. And he said the most powerful words that really put his love in perspective towards me. Not that I ever questioned that my husband loved me, but the words that he used, he had never used before. I couldn't believe it. And I went to bed last night with those words on my heart. It took me to another whole place. And those words came out of him. I want to say, my husband, he's expressive anyway. But those particular words came out of him. I know it was because I took out the time to write him a handwritten heart message. Not that I just hand it to him, but I know the mailing aspect, all of that working together had something to do with the prompting of the words that he used that I will never forget. I'm not going to ever forget it because it's going to recycle in my mind all the time. And yes, I'm going to journal about it. All because, people, and that's why I thank the Lord. That's why it's so powerful. It's so profound. My husband, if I never wrote him anything else, that one piece of mail sums it all up. And he will always have that. Now I have something from him. I mean, he always tells me he loves me. He always shows me how he loves me. But those words, I've never heard. I've never heard anybody use words like that before, let alone my husband use those words to me. And I do have it videotaped. I'm going to take that to the grave. I'm going to carry that forever. And I know that, once again, all of these different dynamics, the handwritten aspect, the mail art, the day too, but the aspect of mailing that, he didn't know that you can mail to your own house. So that was intriguing to him. So people, that's why for me, this is going to be a lifelong endeavor. I do want to mail myself mail every week. In part 1 of this video, I talked about definitely I'm going to do it when I'm out of town. But you don't have to only do it when you're out of town, because we're going to probably spend most of our time in town than out of town, right? So I endeavor to mail myself mail. And when I say mail myself mail, for me, for the most part, no, I shouldn't say for the most part, because my ideas continue to develop. But right now, for me, it's all about, okay, so, let me just share. Let me share some mail that I have mailed to myself. Okay, I'm going to go back to my out-of-town trip that my family took last weekend to Los Angeles. We spent a day in Lancaster visiting my husband's brother. We stayed with him. Well, this is what I mailed from his home. And yes, I did decorate it. And I used the Asian stamp. In my first video, I shared 4 books of stamps that I recently purchased, well, over the last several months. But you guys, I'm loving mail myself mail? Because this one envelope, it holds so much memory, right, in it. Just the one envelope. And these are the reasons why. I'm going to start over here with the stamp. I'm into stamps now. So this stamp is reflective of today's time because it's a new stamp, right? Over here, one of the aspects I love about mailing myself mail, it has the location on it, Santa Clarita. Now, we were in Lancaster. This is the county, but I know that what's going to be in this envelope has to do with my trip to Santa Clarita. And then it has the date. I don't have to worry about, oh, when did we go here? When did we go there? It has the date, February, is that 10th, 2020. Okay, and then I decorated it. I have stamps on it. I have a vintage stamp here. Now, I'm going to now get into another, well, let me come back to that point and finish making my points here. So I decorated both sides, and I do like to date when I think I actually received my mail. I think I got it 2/12. I did get it that date because I've been checking my mail, you guys, because I'm excited about receiving mail from myself, right? You guys know that, I mean, I might visit it once a week. But now that I'm mailing mail to myself, yeah, I can't wait to get to the mailbox. Okay, another important aspect about mailing myself mail, let's open it up because I have yet to do that. And I hope I don't forget the point I want to make. But if I do, I'll share it in another video. Okay. This is vintage stationery that I've used. Look at the cute cat. So you guys inside, oh, you know what? I didn't realize it. Okay, in part one of this video, my stationery was, oh, I just remembered something. Okay, it was blank. Oh, you guys. But this one, I've already journaled on one side of this one. And you know what? I actually journaled about what I was going through that day. And so, I totally forgot about this. You guys heard of time capsules? I remember in high school, in one of my classes, we mailed, what did we do? We wrote a letter and gave it to the teacher, and in so many years, she would mail it to us. You could do that for emails too. You can email yourself and set the date to email you like 1 year later, 5 years later. I did that. I don't know what happened. Okay. I'll talk more about the time capsule thing in another video. But what I ended up doing was I journaled about something I was going through at the time. And in that, well, on this stationery sheet, I encouraged myself. So when I received this piece of mail, if I was still going through whatever I was going through, when I read it, I would be reading encouragement from my own self. I know it sounds weird, you guys, but I'm going to talk more about that because I think there's some healing in that. So you could write yourself a message. You can add things to, I'm going to talk more about that in another video, but I'll just mention now, like if you find something that's like a leaf, a special leaf as you're taking a walk, you can add that and mail it to yourself. And that's a wonderful way to preserve time and location as well. Now, I want to keep mailing myself mail and to family members easy and simple. And I only want to use the one stamp. I want to make sure that I don't go over the weight or make it too bulky. Okay, so back to a point I wanted to make. This thought here was really the thought that probably just propelled me into this movement on this crusade. Okay, I did not want, well, it goes back to my first video, and I shared this in that video. I see a lot of crafters working with the vintage postage stamps. They're very popular. But I cannot think or remember any crafter ever working with the actual stamp of the date and location. And that is what got to me. I'm here to tell you, you guys, for me, there is more value with the stamp of the location and the date, sometimes more than the actual postage stamp. And this is why. This I love. Well, this is why I couldn't just throw away. One reason why I couldn't throw away these vintage envelopes with the stamps and with the date. My mind got to going, right? My mind got to going. And I began to think, oh, wow, what if I can find, because a lot of these are from my home city and surrounding cities. I mean, they come from all over. These are special to me because a lot of them come from my city and surrounding cities in my neck of the woods. But there's something about this date, you guys, or the dates. I got to thinking, what if I found, because I'm stuck in the 80s, because I grew up in the 80s. I was born in the 70s, but I remember the 80s. What if I find my mom's birthday, right? What if I find my sibling's birthday? What if I find a special date? It don't have to be a birthday. It could just be a special date. Like if I found out we had a family reunion that day and I found the corresponding date, that in and of itself means so much to me. So what I have done, I have started to compile a list of special dates. And as I sift and sort through these vintage envelopes, I'm going to use my circle punch, because a couple weeks ago, I sat down and used my circle punch, and I just started punching out. I started punching out the location and the date stamps. Like this right here is my niece's birthday, December the 5th. Now, she wasn't born in 88, right? But that is her birthday. This is vintage, you guys. And so when I mail myself mail, or when I mail family and friends mail, where's the one I just got done working with? Uh-oh, did I get it mixed up? Oh, here it is. I like to add, see, this one is Fowler. Fowler is just a hop and a skip away from me, right? I like to add this stamp. I love it, right? I mean, I like that, but I love even more the hunt I'm on to find those special dates growing up. And I love that because it's going to help me recover memories. It's going to help me pursue childhood memories. And you guys have heard me say I don't remember a lot growing up, but it's just another tool. It's another aid to help me recover those memories, recreate memories, and then document the memories. So if you are so lucky, I'm going to say so lucky, obtain any of the vintage envelopes, don't just rescue the stamp, but also consider rescuing the stamp that has the location and the date. That means a lot to me. And it means a lot to me, once again, because I don't have a lot of pictures. I don't have any mail from my mom. My dad died before my mom, so I have absolutely nothing. I was 3 when he died. Nothing from him. But in a crazy, weird way, it brings me closer to my deceased parents. My mom's been deceased for almost 30 years. So anything that can take me back to childhood, bring me closer to my parents, though they're both deceased, and whatever I create, I'm saving that for my children. Why not, right? So I have other, in this video, let's just talk about it really quick. Because I have found usage for Not all of the envelopes. I mean, I have too many, but I do want to give, you know what? No, I'm going to save this idea and my other ideas for a video. Okay, so yesterday my son, one of my sons, the one that's in Germany, we visited him last year. You guys, my dogs are barking. They're happy. It's a beautiful spring day. So they're out there talking to the dogs next door. They're celebrating spring, though it's officially winter. It's been so beautiful. But anyway, I sent my son in Germany his first mail. Now, keep in mind, again, that I want to keep this as simple as possible. I don't want to put thought into it. I have a motto for myself that I started several years ago concerning crafting. Don't think, create, right? So for this whole endeavor, it's about, I don't want it to feel like I'm working. I don't want it to feel like I have to do it. I don't want deadlines. I don't want restrictions. I just want it to be free flow, right? No rhyme or reason. So I was thinking about what type of envelope I could use. And then I thought about, what can I write on, right? I was putting too much thought in it. So let me tell you what I ended up writing his message on. Oh my goodness. I grabbed the closest thing to me that I could see that I could use. And it's a vintage recipe card. Yes, yes, and yes. You know you could use postcards, right? And I just thought of something else too I'm going to be mailing out that's really simple. And to me, it's so funny. But for my son, I wrote his note on the front and on the back, and I called it a day. I may have added a little a Christian coloring card in his envelope. But yeah, I wrote a handwritten message from the heart. And I know he's going to be so touched when he gets that, because he's never, especially while in the Army, he's never received any mail from me, right? So I know he might just start crying. So I put that in the mail yesterday. Also, I mailed, because this is so cool, I mailed me more mail yesterday. I want to have a stamped envelope with Valentine's date on it. So I actually created my envelope, my mail, several days ago. And then it dawned on me, wait a minute, if you mail it now, you won't have Valentine's postmark date on it. So I mailed it off yesterday before the mail was collected. I took it to the post office. I should get that on Tuesday. And it should have Valentine's date postmark on it. People, I love that. I love how I can mail myself mail and have a particular date on it. Once again, that's important because the mail that I receive for Valentine, I am going to use the vintage stationery sheet inside the envelope to chronicle or to document my Valentine experience with my husband, including the words that he spoke that I will never forget, that I'm going to take to the grave and cherish in my soul, right? I'm going to use that envelope, that stationery to document those memories. And if you saw part 1 of my video, and I probably discussed it in this video too, I think I did, why mailing myself mail is so important to me and how just one envelope encompasses so much memory and so much history just with one envelope that I mail to myself. So in another video, I'm going to share the mail that I sent myself on Valentine's Day. If you want to send yourself mail and have a particular date stamped, just make sure that you have your mail in the mailbox before it's picked up that day. And according to my understanding, you should receive the same date postmark, right? I'm going to confirm that when my mail come. Okay, so I did mail myself other mail. Oh, I love looking at this. Okay, I mailed these the same date. And it was just because, right? I'm just going to mail myself mail just because. So, once again, a vintage stationery. I used the Marvin Gaye stamp. I used the vintage rose here because February is the month for Valentine. And then I used one of the die cuts from a vintage envelope. And I like to use washi tape to seal, to close my envelopes. Sometimes I do have to cover it with this clear repositionable tape. So this is the other mail that I mailed to myself. And you see the stamps here, my washi tape. I just love it. So what I'm going to do is, once again, you guys, use the stationery in the envelope. And here's the thing, though. You don't have to, like, I mailed myself this mail this month. For me, what I'm probably going to do is write about February. But you don't have to. I mean, I could save this and save it for any month. But for me, it makes sense to write about what happened in February or a particular day in February. And then once again, tuck it into a pocket. Use a paper clip to pin it to a page. Or you could just, I don't know, you can file these away, right? I cannot wait to have a whole stack of these. Okay, you guys, I have other ideas to share that I need to break up in different videos, but you're going to see a whole lot more Mail with Me mail. I'm on a crusade, you guys. This is exciting to me because I know I am memory keeping. When I mail random thoughts and notes to my family members, it touches them in ways that perhaps words can't. Sometimes we can write things with our hands and fingers that our mouth can't say. And sometimes the written word touches us in a way that words don't. So I am all about now just sending myself, sending my family random thoughts. And I'm excited once again about receiving mail from Movement. This whole Mail Me Mail challenge is just exciting. And I know that my ideas, they continue to develop. I haven't even shared all of them with you guys in these 2 videos. So if you have missed the first video, be sure to check it out and be on the lookout for my future videos. Now, if you guys want to join me on this movement, for me, it's a lifelong endeavor, and I've shared those reasons why in both of these videos. But yeah, if you want to join me and mail yourself mail, share it below. Let me know let me know whatever you want to let me know. Like if you want to document a particular day, if you're out of town, just leave your thoughts below. Hey, if you have ideas, please leave them below as well. Do be on the lookout once again for my upcoming videos because I do have a lot more videos to bring you guys concerning this whole mail to mail challenge. It encompasses so much, right? And if you do mail a family or a friend a sentiment or a note, a random thought, share what their reaction is. Share how you are transformed or someone else has been transformed by this process. You know, it really is very important to write our heart and share it. Emails and text messages just don't do it. Well, when you write it, it's authentic, right? It's authentic. And so, I don't know. I'm just really excited about this. Now, with that being said, you guys, once again, every month I do endeavor to purchase a new book of stamps. And I'm not going to swap. Well, I want to swap with 1 or 2 people, maybe 3. if anybody is interested in swapping postage stamps, and not a lot, maybe 2 or 3 postage stamps, let me know, because I do want to increase my stash. I mean, I would love to have, because once again, I'm going to mail myself mail every week. I would love to have a different stamp used every single week. However, that's very expensive. So if anybody is interested in stamping or swapping stamps, let me know. I do want to have at least 1 swap every month. And once again, not with a whole lot of stamps, maybe 2, 3, at the most 4 stamps. Yeah. So anyway, you guys, like this video. If you like it, feel free to subscribe. Feel free to share. And if you share my excitement, do leave a comment. All right. I want to thank you all for watching. As always, blessings.